Coming off their first win of the season against the Sparks in Los Angeles, the Indiana Fever returned home to Gainbridge Fieldhouse for a matchup with the Washington Mystics. What followed was one of the wildest and most emotional games of the young WNBA season. Washington entered the game with a lot more confidence than people expected. Even though many fans around the league were still overlooking them, the Mystics had already started showing signs that this young core was dangerous. Sonia Citron was emerging as one of the league's next great scorers, Kiki Iriafen had been dominating on the boards, and Shakira Austin was becoming a major force in the paint. Indiana, however, came out firing. The Fever looked unstoppable in the opening minutes. Kelsey Mitchell knocked down an early three, Caitlin Clark immediately got the offense flowing with pinpoint passes, and Sophie Cunningham added back-to-back baskets to help Indiana build momentum fast. Clark was controlling the pace perfectly, racking up assists early while Indiana pushed the lead into double digits. The crowd inside Gainbridge Fieldhouse was electric. But Washington never panicked. Little by little, the Mystics started settling into the game. Citron began knocking down tough shots, Austin attacked the basket aggressively, and Iriafen started winning battles on the offensive glass. By the end of the first quarter, what once looked like a possible blowout had suddenly turned into a competitive game again. Then came the second quarter, and everything changed. Indiana's offense completely fell apart. The Fever struggled to score, turnovers piled up, and Washington took full control. The Mystics went on a huge run fueled by deep threes, second-chance points, and relentless pressure inside. Citron hit a shot from way beyond the arc. Austin scored repeatedly in the paint. Iriafen kept creating extra possessions. In just a few minutes, Washington erased Indiana's lead and suddenly found themselves ahead by double digits. The Fever looked rattled. Kelsey Mitchell tried to keep Indiana alive with a few tough baskets late in the half, but the Mystics carried all the momentum into halftime with the lead. After dominating the opening stretch of the game, Indiana suddenly looked completely different. The Fever desperately needed a response in the third quarter. Mitchell opened the half aggressively, attacking the basket and getting Indiana back within striking distance. But every time the Fever made a push, Washington answered immediately. Citron continued hitting pull-up jumpers, Austin dominated in the paint, and Iriafen controlled the glass on both ends of the floor. Then the biggest moment of the game happened. Aaliyah Boston went down with a lower leg injury and had to leave the floor. The arena instantly went silent. Boston had already put together a strong performance with 9 points and 9 rebounds, and losing her changed everything for Indiana. Without Boston, the Fever lost their interior presence, their rim protection, and one of their most reliable players on both ends of the court. Still, Indiana refused to quit. Natasha Howard and the Fever role players kept fighting for loose balls and second chances. Clark continued attacking despite constant pressure from Washington's defense. Heading into the fourth quarter, Indiana was still within reach, but they needed something special. And that's exactly what Caitlin Clark delivered. Clark completely took over the game in the fourth quarter. She started drilling deep three-pointers from nearly 30 feet out. One after another, the shots kept falling. Then she mixed in beautiful assists, finding teammates cutting to the basket and creating easy scoring opportunities. In a matter of minutes, Clark either scored or assisted on nearly every Indiana basket. She dragged the Fever back into the game almost single-handedly, turning a double-digit deficit into a late lead. The crowd erupted every time she touched the ball. But Washington still would not go away. Citron continued answering with clutch baskets of her own, showing absolutely no fear in a hostile environment. The Mystics regained the lead late, and with under 2 minutes remaining, Indiana was once again chasing the game. Mitchell hit a huge three to keep the Fever alive. Indiana forced another stop. Then, with just seconds left and the Fever trailing by 3, the ball found Caitlin Clark on the left wing. The entire building stood up. Clark caught the pass, planted her feet, and buried a massive game-tying three-pointer with only 1.7 seconds remaining. Gainbridge Fieldhouse exploded into chaos as the Fever forced overtime. It was one of the biggest moments of the season so far. But overtime became a heartbreaking finish for Indiana. The two teams traded big shots back and forth. Clark continued attacking the basket and creating opportunities. Mitchell knocked down another clutch three, and the Fever kept battling despite being shorthanded without Boston. But missed free throws became the difference. Indiana left critical points at the line during the final minutes of overtime, and Washington capitalized every single time. Citron continued playing with incredible confidence, while Iriafen delivered key rebounds and second-chance baskets that kept the Mystics ahead. The Fever had one final opportunity in the closing seconds, but the last shot missed the mark. Final score: Washington Mystics 104, Indiana Fever 102 in overtime. Even in the loss, Caitlin Clark delivered one of the best performances of the young season. She finished with 32 points, hit 7 three-pointers, and completely took over the fourth quarter with one unbelievable shot after another. But Washington's young stars were equally impressive. Citron exploded for a career-high performance and looked every bit like a future superstar. Iriafen dominated with a massive double-double, and Austin controlled the paint all night long. The Mystics proved they are no longer a team people can ignore. For Indiana, the loss hurts, but the biggest concern moving forward is Aaliyah Boston's injury. Her absence changes everything for this Fever team, and fans are now anxiously waiting for updates. Caitlin Clark gave Indiana everything she had.